It is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. That's a brand new one from U.D.O. The tune is called House of Fake, probably my favorite on the record. And here's a guy that's definitely not a fake. It is the original, the main man himself. It is Udo Dirkschneider. Udo, how are you, my friend?
Very, very good. Even at the moment, I'm quite busy with interviews, but it's good talking to you again.
Sure. Well, Udo, you just have decided somewhere along the way, 10, 15 years ago, I guess, that you're never going to stop working. This is what, your like 8th record in 10 years or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. I mean, I think I come up every 2 years with a new album. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I like to record new stuff, and I mean, it's still fun to do it, That's the most important thing. I still have fun to do this.
Sure. Well, listening to the new record, Udo, which is just called Decadent, it's not going to surprise anybody, but at the same time, you do take some chances that you haven't always done before. There's Secrets in Paradise is a definite kind of a left turn for you. Did you purposely try to do some things a little bit different this time, or is it just kind of the mood you were in when you were writing?
It's always, up to the song, and of course, I mean, I start also singing stuff like this on the previous album, the Steelhammer, like the song Heavy Rain. It was only with the piano, Mm-hmm. So, of course, it's, I don't know, my voice is going, let's say the other way around. I can sing more in the lower range, and so that can make more, the whole range is much wider than I had it years ago.
Sure.
So that means I can do more different stuff, Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's unusual for some people, but keep going.
Right. Sure. Now, Udo, one thing that I noticed from listening to the record and comparing it to some of the older stuff in the U.D.O. catalog is the older stuff was a little more rigid, meaning that the sound was very almost mechanical in a lot of ways. And I think that was kind of the theme that you were going with, with things like Dominator as an example, very, very tough sounding, where these songs sound a little bit more band-oriented, like they're the kind of songs that maybe you just jammed out in the studio. Is there truth to that, or were these all written before you got to the studio?
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, so when I did like an album like Dominator or I'm a Raptor, I mean, I was working for a long time together with Stefan Kaufmann, the drummer of Accept, and now he was a guitar player in U.D.O, and he was producing the most of the U.D.O albums, but sure. In the end he was too much in computer stuff, Mm-hmm. What I did when he left the band, I started producing the albums on my own, and for me it was more important that to do a face-to-face recording, that I want to have the guitar player sitting next to me so you can directly talk to them, and say, no, maybe you can do it in this way and do it in this way, I mean, the whole process with a new album, Decadent, I mean, that was after a long time, way back in the Accept, when I was together with Accept. The whole album was composed by the whole band, Mm-hmm. And not only with two guys, what I did with Stefan Kaufmann for a long time. And and I mean, there are so many, they came up with so many interesting stuff, the both new guitar players. Mm-hmm. There was a really teamwork, and I want to have it more real, more live character on the album, and I think on Decadent you can hear it.
Sure, certainly. Now you spoke of the two new guitar players. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Andre actually played on the last record, but Kasperi did not. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. I mean, on Steelhammer, Andre was doing all the guitar stuff, solo and rhythm-wise, and now Kasperi and Andre they played on the new album, and they're working very well together, and I mean, they did, I think, really, really good guitar work on this album.
Sure. Now, what made you decide to add a second guitar player for this time around? Did you feel like something was missing, or did you just want to beef it up, or what?
No, that was always for me important. You know that both of the guitar players that I work with two guitar players at the studio. You know,
Hmm.
and it was also when we did the older U.D.O albums. I mean, always I had two guitar players at the studio. But Stefan did the most of the time in the end over the internet. You know, they're sending some links and stuff like that. So, but in the older, let's, for example, Animal House, Time Bomb, Faces World, Me Machine, that was the same recording what I did now with Steel Hammer and Decadent, you know. The people was at the studio, they was sitting next to the producer, and it was a face-to-face recording, and that was for me very important also with the new album.
Sure. Now, Udo, looking at your career with UDO, it really seems, and this is my own personal opinion, I guess, but it seems like you were unbelievable when you came out. Animal House, Mean Machine, and Time Bomb, especially those records are just so good. And then in the middle, the records were good, but it seems like all of a sudden now probably the last since Master Cuter, I would say, you've probably hit your creative best with the band. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I mean, that there was in a way, it is also not so easy to explain. When we start Master Cuter, there started changing was coming up, you know.
Hmm.
But I don't want to put everything on Stefan Kaufmann, you know. But
Sure.
he was trying to get in a different direction with UDO, and I think that was wrong in what to try to go in a different direction with Udo. You know, he
Hmm.
tried to be more modern and more computer orientated, stuff like that. And I mean, I just met him before I was doing all the promotion stuff here in the US. I had a dinner with him. I mean, we are still talking to each other. There's no bad vibes
Sure.
between us. And he said, "Yeah, you are right. When I listened to the Steel Hammer album, I know what you mean. You know, about the production wise." So, I mean, sometimes, you know, then you find out that was not the right direction what you did.
Sure. Well, do you feel like maybe what Stefan was trying to do was separate UDO from Accept? Because obviously, no matter whatever happens, you're always going to be the voice of Accept in most people's minds. You know, do
Yeah,
you
of
do you
course.
do you do you think that by trying to do more mechanical and computerized sound through that period of time, maybe he was trying to help you separate yourself from
Yeah,
the
but
past?
yeah, maybe, but I mean, you know, now with UDO, I think UDO, yeah, of course, is the voice. That's the only thing what's left of Accept, you know. But the rest, I think, it's now I call it, like, you cannot compare it really with Accept the music, you know.
Hmm.
Especially when you hear Steel Hammer or now the new album Decadent. Of course, there are some songs, especially like songs like Untouchable. This is like or like Breathless is in a way like, yeah, you can hear where I come from.
Right.
um, but I say, you know, UDO is on its own, you know, and of course I'll always be the voice of Accept. I was the voice of Accept,
Right.
and I mean, I created Accept. I mean, in already in the end of the '60s, you know, together with Michael Wagener.
Sure.
So I mean, yeah, but I mean nowadays, I mean, we are completely separate. UDO is now for 25 years, I think.
Wow.
We around that more years do UDO longer than Accept, you know. And yeah, I mean, I think with this new lineup what I have at the moment with these two guitar players, I mean, there will be a good future for us, definitely.
Excellent. Now, Udo, one thing that everybody, I didn't get to catch the last tour that you did, even though you were here in Cleveland, which is my fault, I guess. But, you know, from everything that I've heard, and I caught you on, I forget which tour it was. I think it was Rev Raptor or Dominator, one of the two. But from what I've seen and from what I've heard, and I remember catching Accept back in the day, you just seem to have a lot more energy on stage than you really ever did before. Is that just because you're more into the music, or are you trying to be healthier, or a little bit of both, or what?
I don't know. I mean, I feel more, let's say it in this way, I feel more comfortable.
Okay.
You know, especially when I was in 2013, when I did a short American tour with the new guitar players, I feel more comfortable with this lineup. I mean, I cannot really compare to Accept. I mean, Accept fired me in '86, so right. I mean, but until '86, I mean, I was also feeling very comfortable in Accept, you know. Mm-hmm. But now with U.D.O, I mean. Also, you know, these two new guitar players, they are just 30 years old. They are young, you know, and they push you also, you know, on stage. It's really like, yeah, I don't know. The only thing I can say, I really feel really comfortable at the moment, and that means you push it more, you know.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. Now, U.D.O 2015. Obviously, you're starting with a new record, so I'm going to guess that you're quite busy this year. What's in the plans for you this year?
Oh, the plans for this year. We start at the beginning of March, the first part of the European tour, and then during the summer we do a lot of festivals. One big festival is Wacken, so we do it with an orchestra.
Okay.
And then. Between September and December, we do the second European part, go to South America, Japan, and coming to the U.S. and Canada again.
Excellent. Very good. Let me ask you about the orchestra, Udo, just because it's one of those things that fans either like or hate. You know, I mean, it's one of the, I personally not a fan of it. I'll just tell you honestly, but that's just me, you know. But for you as an artist, does reworking your songs with an orchestra, does that add something creative that you want to try to do, or why exactly would you try to do your music with an orchestra?
I mean, the idea, I had this for a long time together with Stefan Kaufmann. We start, I don't know, 7-8 years ago with the orchestra from the Czech Republic, mm-hmm. But that was an orchestra, you know, with violins and all that stuff, and that was too, too soft.
Sure.
And then when I was mixing the Steelhammer album in the north of Germany, so the guy who is I work with mixing wise in the studio. He is a percussion guy in a marine orchestra.
Okay.
From Germany. So, and then during the mixing, it was Christmas time. They had a concert, the marine orchestra, but this orchestra only has brass, you know, mm-hmm. All violins and stuff like that. So then we said, okay, we want to watch this concert, you know, but I was expecting more march music, you know, military stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, but I was wrong. They were playing songs like from ABBA, from Michael Jackson, stuff like that.
Okay.
And it's only with brass. And then I was sitting there and I said, that's it. That fits together. This is metal, you know, mm-hmm. with clap. So, and then we start talking to the people, and we said, is that maybe possible to do stuff like that, you know, a classical thing with military stuff, orchestra. Yeah, and then we start working some arrangement on some arrangements for the U.D.O songs, and it worked out very well. So we did a concert last year on the Steelhammer tour, mm-hmm. And so there is a DVD and CD coming up live in July. Okay. So we are working on it at the moment, so start mixing the whole thing. And yeah, So, and I was surprised. The show was sold out very quickly in Germany, and then the reaction. So everybody was really nervous, about doing the show in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And the reaction was fantastic. The people, they're going really crazy. I mean, everybody was like, "Wow, it worked." Yeah. So, and then now the guys from Wacken came up, and they said, "Is it possible to do this again?" And we said, "Normally this was just exclusive
Mm-hmm.
thing, But then we said, okay, when we do it in Wacken, then we make it bigger." So now we have the main orchestra of the military from Germany. And so there will be over nearly 100 people on stage.
Wow.
So that will be really massive thing coming up on Wacken. So, but we do some special things, but I don't want to tell everybody what exactly we do. Yeah, so, I mean, that means also this kind to doing something together with an orchestra.
Excellent. Very good. Well, Udo, the new record is called Decadent. It's really, really one of the best ones that you've done so far. And so as a tradition on the show, we always let the artist pick a closing song from the record and maybe tell us a story about it. So what would you like us to wrap this interview up with?
I mean, I like very much the song Pain. And then the meaning of the song Pain is, when you switch on the news on TV, you always see wars going on, massacres going on. It's more a horror movie show on the news.
Right.
And, that means how much pain we can take, And then I think that will be the right song for it.
All right, well, let's check it out right now. This is U.D.O. with the song Pain right here on your Classic Metal Show.